All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Black College Experience HBCU Sports Podcast. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we have in Atlanta, Georgia, the founder and CEO, the queen of Black College Experience, the one and only Keisha J. Kelly, MBA. What's going on, Kels?
It is the end of a great football weekend. It is also the end of a great football season. And as much as I enjoy football season, I am actually glad that it's over with because I need a break. I am super tired. But it has been a great, rewarding, very
kind of losing
if
your
you're
little bit,
rolling with
Kels.
us, thank you for rolling with us. Thank you for hanging with us. Thank you for leading us this season. But right now, before we hop into this show, it's 719-373-6861, Again, it's 719-373-6861, 49170. And of course, we're live on Spreaker at the moment.
Whoever that is, you're going to have to, if someone just called in, I think that's Willie. You got some background noise. Is that you, Willie?
Yes, it is.
Keisha,
hello.
Our good friend Willie is on the line.
Oh, yeah, he said he was calling in. That's fine. Yeah, he said he was calling in.
Yes, indeed. All right, so Kels, start us off.
Well, since Willie on the phone, we're going to start with Willie.
So
How you doing today, Willie?
I'm fine. I'm still driving.
Oh, you're on your way back from Atlanta?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm on my way back from Atlanta.
So let everyone know who you are if they don't know the name Willie Scott.
I am Willie Scott. I am the Associate Director of Sports Information at Southern University.
And you are a former Jaguar football player as well.
Yes.
So
1990 to 94.
So Willie, in our social media groups, you said you had some things you wanted to talk about and address. So I'm guessing
this is the thing. To be all right, honest with you, yesterday, from the time I watched Alcorn, from the first time we played them to when they played Grambling to the second time we played them state championship game, Alcorn has grown in areas and areas they didn't grow. Yesterday's game, I think we said it when you made a comment on yesterday that Alcorn deserved to be there. They didn't deserve to be there.
I said they earned it.
Yeah, they didn't earn it. They earned it the wrong way. And I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of Alcorn fans won't agree with that situation, but there was several trivia calls that was in the state championship game. But the thing about it is, though, those calls may have or may have not played in our favor, to be honest. But the thing about it is, though, it's hard to beat anybody when you have 7 turnovers in a football game, and 4 of those 7 were in the red zone. Yes, Alcorn State Braves University is the 6-time reigning East defending champion, as well as 4-time SWAC champion. Alcorn, honestly, was the better team yesterday. And that's something I wanted to address. For a lot of people thinking about the 64 points that North Carolina A&T put on Alcorn. North Carolina A&T did something that no other SWAC school done this season besides Grambling, was exploit Alcorn secondary. Coach McNair made a comment the other day that the only way North Carolina A&T would beat them was if they passed. And that they did, where their quarterback threw 6 touchdowns.
So Willie, you feel that just in general, Alcorn was the better team, but they just got out executed by North Carolina A&T.
Hands down. I mean, North Carolina A&T did what we did Alcorn in the championship game was actually exploit their offensive line. Whose offensive line were young in areas, but at the end of the day, their line was exploited by North Carolina A&T's front seven. Mm-hmm. North Carolina A&T's back four weren't that great, but when the quarterback don't have time to throw the ball, it's hard to see how good or bad their defensive backs were for North Carolina A&T.
Right. Well, since we are talking about the Celebration Bowl, we're going to continue this conversation and also start by recapping the Celebration Bowl. Kels, you were also in attendance of the game. So of course, I watched on TV. So tell us, what was your impression of the game? Really feels like that even though Alcorn was out-executed by North Carolina A&T, that the Braves, I guess, were the better team on paper. So what is your opinion on that, and just your just impression of yesterday's game?
Well, honestly, the secondary, as he said, just fell apart. It truly did. The O-line fell apart. They did nothing up front. So, Alcorn they started out slow, and I did not expect Alcorn to lose the game the way they lost the game. I didn't expect that game to be that high scoring. I truly didn't, which, of course, that's the second or the first time they scored that many points. You're talking about 108 points in a football game. I've never saw a game like that, especially 64 points. And I think if they even had like 2 more minutes, they probably would have went and got 70. But I never saw a game like that. And it was a case where Felix Harper was trying to, because even in the case, even with them losing that game, he still had a really good game. You're talking about 353 yards and 5 touchdowns. So even though they lost, he still had a really good game versus North Carolina A&T. But, of course, we knew somebody had to lose. And in this case, it was Alcorn. And it was, it was some situations in that third quarter where it was just so many points. There was some back-to-back scoring. It was just so much going on. But watching that game, I've never seen anything like that.
And my line brother Patrick Perry has joined the call. Welcome, PP.
What's up, man?
So, Willie feels like Alcorn was the better squad. Kels gives, I guess you could say, an overall even kill. What is your opinion on yesterday's events with Alcorn losing the Celebration Bowl 64-44?
Just I think covers HBCU football. I told you.
PP, you breaking up real bad, Frat.
Yeah.
You breaking up real bad. No, you breaking up real bad.
Okay, all right. Give me a few minutes.
Okay. Well, while we wait on PP to call back, I'm going to give my opinion. The difference in this game and last year's game is the type of offense Alcorn was running. Last year, you had a true dual-threat quarterback who could run it and pass it. This year, you had a true drop-back quarterback who does have some running ability, but it wasn't his strength. And North Carolina A&T kind of took advantage of it. Even though they gave up 341 yards passing to Felix, they only gave up 119 total yards rushing. Last year, they gave up over 300 yards rushing to Alcorn. So Alcorn did not have that same dynamic in this game as they had last year. And there were a couple of blind man ref calls that I feel that should have went in Alcorn's way that allowed North Carolina A&T to extend some drives, and it also affected Alcorn's ability to score. Matter of fact, when Alcorn had to settle for that field goal, it was a blatant pass interference call that was missed by the referee. So not saying that touchdown could have changed anything because the defenses continued to play like they were playing. that still would not have won Alcorn the game. It was calls missed both ways, but I do feel like, and I'm not showing any bias here, this is just what I saw. And everyone knows I'm no fan of Alcorn. The referees were slanted toward North Carolina A&T. You know, that's just the calls I saw. You know, even when there were bump and run plays or bump plays, I mean, when the DB got there early, he gets there early, that's a flag, and it wasn't called. North Carolina A&T ran for 210 yards on the ground, led by Jermaine Martin's 110 yards and Khalil Carter's 96 yards on the ground. Like Kel said, he had a career day, 364 yards passing, 6 touchdowns through the air. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone pass on Alcorn secondary the way that North Carolina A&T did yesterday. We know they have some good receivers, Zachary Leslie, Elijah Bell. These are wide receivers that can beat you, and that is exactly what happened. And then you had the wild card, Corey Banks, was actually the leading receiver for North Carolina A&T with 6 catches for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, yeah. Go ahead, Willie.
The thing about it is, though, I think with those, you had to see Browning passed on Alcorn the entire game. We had spurts in our championship game that we passed on Alcorn as well. The thing about it is, though, is the difference between our receivers and the SWAC and Zoodoan receivers in North Carolina A&T, you had 2 guys that will probably one day be Olympians. In Bell and I can't think of the other young man's name.
Leslie or Banks?
Those young men, I think it was Banks. Those young men last spring, competed for a national championship in a 4x100 meter relay in Eugene, Oregon. So you got 2 young men that had world-class speed on the ends. You don't see that much in the SWAC, to be honest with you.
That's correct.
You see some pretty quick guys in the SWAC. You see some guys like the young man from Alabama A&M, that the freshman that won freshman of the year, that run perfect routes. He wasn't that fast. He was quick off his first step, but he ran a perfect route, and he knew how to get open. You see that in the SWAC, but when you see people that are actually true sprinters that has world-class speed, it's hard to defend, because if they get within 10 yards of you, they've already passed. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people were clowning and laughing. They showed it on ESPN last night, the play where number 2 was caught a pass and was running in the end zone, and he actually had the Alcorn defender turn around and complete circle, then fail because of the moves he made. But it wasn't just the moves, it was the quickness he had in those moves that he can stop and go on a dime without breaking a stride. You don't see that in the Southwest Athletic Conference as much as we saw yesterday. Yesterday was honestly my first time ever seeing North Carolina A&T playing live, and they were actually good as advertised. They were a well-coached team. But the thing about it is, though, as a football man and know the game, I still feel deep down in my heart that Alcorn was the better team yesterday in the skilled areas. Yes, North Carolina A&T had a good quarterback, a senior quarterback. They had great receivers. They had world-class speed. But the thing was this, North Carolina A&T had a brand-new offensive line, because they graduated their entire line last year when Alcorn played them last year. Up front, Alcorn did not exploit their line at all. I mean, the quarterback had times where he had a half a day to pass the ball. Mm-hmm. He was never on his heels the way Alcorn's quarterback was on his heels half the game. And the times Alcorn's quarterback stepped up and made a move, he got 8, 9, 10, 11 yards. I'm confused on why he didn't run more, but this is an Alcorn team that I've never seen their swagger, because Alcorn has a swagger that they know how to win. And the demeanor that they have when they come out in the field from warm up. I didn't see that demeanor yesterday. I did from warm up to the end of the game. I didn't see that at all. And North Carolina A&T players are big.
Yes, indeed. they are pretty big. I think we just lost PP again. But I mean, Willie, how can you say that Alcorn is the better team when clearly North Carolina A&T players were able to basically do whatever they wanted to the Braves? I mean,
I'm gonna give you a prime example. If I think back to the SWAC championship game, if you look at paper and you don't look at the score, you would think Southern University won the football game.
that is correct.
If you look at the paper last night, and now look at the score, you would think Alcorn Braves either won the game or the very tight game that they lost on paper. I know you don't play football on paper; you play it on the field. But Alcorn had players that knew how to make plays. I've never seen Alcorn start as slow as they started yesterday in Fred McNair's career at Alcorn. I've never seen him start that slow.
Right. Speaking of those, that slow start, Alcorn scored the first 3 points of the game, and then they lost the second quarter 24-7. That kind of spelled, disaster. The third quarter was won by North Carolina A&T 28-21. That shows the Braves were fighting back. And then the fourth quarter, they actually won the fourth quarter 13-12. But it was that second quarter where Alcorn had that big turnover that really turned the tide in the game. I mean, then Felix, he only threw one interception, but it was a costly interception. And then that long run by Jermaine Martin really kind of, it took the momentum away from Alcorn. And like I said, this was a different offensive-minded team than North Carolina A&T faced last year. This was a team that could beat you in the running game first, pass game second. Well, Alcorn is now a pass-first squad versus a run-first squad. Even though they have Waller and Duffy, they're still a pass-first team. And in most cases, Willie, what must you do first to set up the pass?
If Alcorn would have continued to run the ball, they was gashing. Duffy and Waller was gashing their offensive, their defensive front of North Carolina A&T. They got away from the run, and I mean, and I agree with you on the game, Derek, as far as that. But North Carolina A&T actually won the game in the second and the third quarter. I've never seen a team put up 52 points in 2 quarters.
That's exactly what they did. And we have PP back now. PP, let's get your opinion on yesterday's Celebration Bowl between Alcorn State and North Carolina A&T.
Oh, man, I don't think nobody that follows HBCU football would have expected that. Not even, I thought the score would be like, at best, like 31-27, something like that, Alcorn, because we know Harper can throw. But, like, Carter was back there. The game was won with A&T's offensive line, and Alcorn secondary got exposed. Like our secondary got exposed against Alcorn. He was sitting back there like first read, second read, third read. Oh, he broke over the touchdown. It was like, wow. But, Harper had by everyone else standards against A&T, he had a great game. He had 5 touchdowns and 1 pick, something like that, over 300 yards. Last year was Alcorn staying in the game because of their running game. This year, Harper was throwing the ball, and against any other team in the MEA, they probably won't win, but A&T was just, wow. Carter was, he was back there he showed he was a graduate student. He showed that experience back then, and it was, wow, I mean, that was the game of a lifetime. Like, to go out like that against a good team like Alcorn, like, wow.
Willie?
Alcorn's all-year defensive line was suspect all year. They had Muhammad. Alcorn has actually a decent secondary, but no one never fully threw the ball on them 80% of the time. But the thing about it is, though, A&T's quarterback had all day to go through. I mean, I'm like my man just said, he went through his first, second, third, and sometimes fourth progression before he released the ball. They didn't have any pressure up front. And A&T's line, because I watched the game against when A&T played FAMU, and FAMU's defensive front had him on his heels the entire game. And he did not do the things he did against Alcorn against FAMU. And I watched us play FAMU and beat ourselves in a game in Tallahassee. And I know the kind of team FAMU got with Stanley at quarterback. That guy is amazing. And it was because Stanley is a pure pocket passer. But this guy from Alcorn, from A&T was just, he had all day to pass the ball. And I know Alcorn gave him 210 yards rushing, but that's suspect, Derek. Right? The reason I say that is they gave up, one play where a guy made a good move and he took it 65, 70 yards. You take that 75. One runaway, they gave up the same as Alcorn, about 120 yards.
Yeah, but
that game was one.
And the quarterback had a long run at the end of the game, a long touchdown run. So it was basically like two rushes for 100 yards, over 100 yards.
All right.
Yeah, so, two rushes for about 120 yards. You take 120, 130 yards. You take those two runs away. And my thing is, Alcorn's defense lived on the field, but we looked at that, but they didn't. Alcorn had the ball 29 minutes, and T had the ball 30 minutes. So it was an even. Like I said, if you look at the paper, you would say Alcorn either won the game or lost, like my man say, 31-28, 31-27, something like that. Because I picked Alcorn to win by 4.
Now, I just picked them to win. I didn't pick no score. And it looks like the only person on this phone that picked North Carolina A&T is the founder CEO of Black College Experience, who we haven't heard from in a while. So, Kels, let's get you to chime in. Like, you were at the game. You were basking in the ambiance. You were paying attention to both fan bases. Let's get your opinion on this unexpected result in the Celebration Bowl.
I predicted A&T to win. And I say this one time again, I'm not biased to conference. I don't care that I graduated from Southern. I don't care that I'm SWAC. I'm not biased to conference. It is what it is. Just the better team won yesterday. It's no other way to put it, in my opinion. We could talk about what could have happened, what should have happened, what would have happened. But yesterday we saw what happened. You're talking about a team that has played 4 times against each other, and all four times A&T, rather, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say the same team, but all 4 times it continues to happen. And again, I don't think anybody would expect that. Now, on the front of the fans showing up, they did. North Carolina A&T and Alcorn, both sides did show up. It was a really great turnout. Willie said he don't believe it was 32,000 people there. That's what the announcement was. The announcement said 32,968. Willie said he don't believe it.
He can't count.
Willie said, huh?
He can't count too good.
Yeah,
his math skills is bad.
Maybe that's just how many tickets that were sold.
That's what I'm thinking, probably tickets sold. But
I can agree with that.
Yeah, it's probably tickets sold. I know, inside, because the way the Mercedes-Benz holds 71,000 people, the way it's set up. Last year, if y'all remember, they blocked the top of it off. The whole top was shut down. Like, it had all the raffles down on top. So
they did the same thing this year. So my question is, though, Kels, I would like to know how many that bottom hold, because if the building holds 71,000, and they say we had 32,000 in the stands, I can't see the top holding. You know what I'm saying? The bottom bowl normally holds the most.
Correct.
And the upper area normally holds, 80. I guess you could say probably, if I had to throw a number, I would say the bottom portions hold about maybe 40, 45, and the top hold about 30. I honestly, to be honest with you, for my first time being at the Celebration Bowl, I was actually bothered by the attendance from both schools. I know it's close to Christmas, but I just think that we have to support. And I was proud of the fact that I saw Grambling fans, I saw North Carolina Central fans, I saw Southern fans, I saw FAMU fans, I saw South Carolina State fans, I saw some Jackson State fans, I saw some Mississippi Valley fans. I saw fans from all over HBCUs come out and support that game, which is huge. And I really wish they would actually move that game up closer to after the championship game of the conferences, where you can get a little bit better attendance, because I know it's hard to have that game scheduled 4 days before Christmas.
Right.
And I wish that the Celebration Bowl would look into actually holding it a little sooner than that. And another thing that I wish would be able to change is the fact of, like, the 50-yard line on both sides of the field was pretty almost empty. Between the 40 and the 40 was pretty empty, because those seats are $85. I think the pricing is not as great as it should be, because if I look at it, I can buy season book tickets and sit on the 50-yard line and sell it for about $150, $160. $40 a game, basically, if I buy a season book ticket. But I would go to another game. I went to the championship game and paid $35 and sit anywhere I wanted to. But I would go to the Celebration Bowl, whether it be Southern playing anybody, Alcorn, Jackson, whoever playing anybody, South Carolina State, FAMU, North Carolina Central, North Carolina St. I think that's kind of high, especially with it being so close to Christmas when the game is scheduled.
Well, I wish we could have an Alcorn State Brave on this call, because, we know how Alcorn fans, how much pride they have in their Braves. And to lose like this, because the Braves were ecstatic. They traveled. We know we've had to deal with the unbearable Alcorn State fans being SWAC champs for 2 years in a row. But they got humbled yesterday. And here's the thing. I saw a lot of Alcorn State fans, admitting to being humbled. There were some that tried to blame phantom writers. There were some that tried to, blame other reasons for losing this game. You can say, there were some blind refs, as I said earlier. But blind refs don't really get you beat by 20. Blind refs sometimes get you beat by 3.
Exactly. Cheating is 7 points or 3 points, not 20 points. That's just a flat out you lost. You lost. Going back to what Willie said, the Celebration Bowl, last year's Celebration Bowl was December 15th. And I said the same thing, because if you look at it, Bayou Classic was later, SWAC Championship was around the same time, but Celebration Bowl was moved back an extra week. And I think even with me being in Atlanta, because I'm having to travel to Alabama on Tuesday, I said the same thing. The timing is just really late. It's really late for most people. Well, I know it's just like right before Christmas. If you did it even December 15th or whatever, the thing is because we have a SWAC championship game, they're not going to be able to ship too much of anything. If the championship game say it's the same weekend, you can only go the following weekend or the 21st. So I guess it would have to be the following weekend. That's the only time you can move it up a week earlier.
I agree with you on that, Kev. I still say move it up a week because there's no limit unless the NCAA has a guideline or a boundary of when the bowl season can start. Maybe that's why. But, I mean, yes, this year Bayou Classic was a little late. Because last year we played Bayou Classic, we had a week off. Well, no, it was the Strike-Championship game was always the first weekend in December. So last year we played the Strike-Championship game was on December the 3rd. This year was on December 7th because of the fact of the way Bayou Classic fell. But I just feel that game should be the second week in December, always, just because of the fact of that you can bring people out, especially with traveling to Atlanta. Now, I will say I'm not sure on how the price gouging was for the hotels, but you still got a lot of people traveling, whether it be from Mississippi or Louisiana, because you got to think about it. I mean, it could be from Texas. Just imagine if Prairie View or Texas Southern actually make it to the Celebration Bowl. They're traveling even 4 to 5 hours further than someone from Baton Rouge or Grambling or either Alcorn or just say Jackson, Mississippi. So I think that's something that can be brought up by the two different conferences to talk about with the Celebration Bowl committee. But once again, maybe it's a guideline of when the NCAA will allow bowl season to start.
Okay. Well, I have a question because this was also being discussed on social media as far as reasons why the SWAC has been unable to really beat the MEAC in the Celebration Bowl. I think Grambling has our only victory against North Carolina Central. All the other times, was it North Carolina A&T versus Alcorn? Correct me if I'm correct. If I'm wrong.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So we have, 5 Celebration Bowls, 4 won by North Carolina A&T, 1 won by Grambling. And of course, Graham Fam has been saying, "Oh, and Willie, you know what I'm about to say? We wouldn't get beat by the Aggies like that," or saying that Southern wouldn't get beat by the Aggies like that. And of course, you saw I said you can't really say that because you have to play the game. We don't know how the game will fare out. Yes, you could hope that your squad wouldn't get beat by 20 points, wouldn't get a 64-piece dropped on them. But there's no way to know unless you play the game. Willie? Because you said you can say that. You said that you could say that would never happen to Southern versus A&T.
No, it would. No, it would.
You feel in your Southern Jaguar heart that wouldn't happen.
Oh no, I mean the deep down in my soul. I take that to the grave with me. A fairly called game. Now that game had some calls both ways. It had some controversial pass interference calls, especially on the A&T side that would have actually continued things that happened good for Alcorn. Alcorn receiver was backwards roll for 4 yards. They didn't call dark pass interference. It's things that I don't understand, and I don't know where those referees come from yesterday because I know they weren't SWAC referees. So I don't know what conference they came from. Someone said the Southern Conference, the Sun Belt, and someone said the SEC. I'm not 100% sure, but no, I don't feel that we would have because of the fact that I do know one thing. Southern's defensive front was the best defensive front in the last 3 to 4 years Southern has had. And led the conference in rush defense, and was second in conference in sacks. So no, I don't feel we would have at all.
But you're 0-2 against Alcorn this year, though.
And what that means? And yeah, we're 0-2 against Alcorn. We're 1-1 against Alcorn, and we're 0-1 against Alcorn and their refs.
Okay. So here is another question I
And
want to
since
ask.
we're there, let's since we're there, let's look at some stuff there,
All right,
because
Kim.
you raise a great point. And again, I do. You have to call it what it is. You have to call an ace and a spade. We all know that when Alcorn plays in Lorman, they're not gonna lose. They're not gonna lose when they're at home. But when they get on neutral territory, it's harder for them to win. Alcorn has not beat North Carolina A&T since 2004. Guess where they played it? In Lorman. The score was 16-13.
Didn't one of the Alabamas beat Alcorn at home a couple years ago?
I don't think Alcorn was also game at home.
I have no idea, but right now I'm talking about North Carolina A&T.
Okay.
And I'm talking about Alcorn. They will not lose. They don't lose at home. That
game they're playing Alcorn would have been a different situation yesterday.
So Alcorn doesn't lose at home because we know that calls are favored for them at home. So now you hear the it's an issue with traveling to Atlanta. They should move the Celebration Bowl. Oh, you should move the such and such. I don't know how other people think, because y'all in Baton Rouge, somebody in Mississippi. I'm all the way over here in Atlanta. So no SWAC school except for Alabama State and Alabama A&M are favored on my side. I have SEAC country on my side. Everything SWAC is that way. So going to anything Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Pine Bluff should be no issue on that side to travel to. It's nothing. It's nothing because it's on that side. So what I don't understand is when you get the calls and go our way, or the referees cheated, or somebody was blind. It's always one of the greatest athletes. It's always going to be questions in a football game. 60 minutes. It's always going to be questions in games. Always. It's never going to go the way you think it's supposed to go when it's going against you, of course. But at the end of the day, you still got to play the game. And somebody still got to lose. My question is, what do you do to be the better opponent so you get to the Celebration Bowl and you knock off the MEAC team?
Well, a lot of people Go ahead, Willie.
No, go ahead.
Well, there was a question asked, Kels, and you I think Stephen gave their HBCU game. They posted it. Where the North Carolina A&T Aggies players were asked, do they feel, bad for FAMU? I'm guessing, because FAMU, if they had not been, ineligible, they would have been in the Celebration Bowl. And what do you think would have happened had Alcorn played FAMU?
I don't think it would have. I don't know if it would have been 64 points. I don't know what it would have been, but I still think that FAMU would have won as well. It doesn't matter what team it was. You can even look at Bethune-Cookman. You can look at South Carolina State. Other teams in that conference, I still think would have done the same thing. Again, we can talk about what could have, should have, would have happened, but at the end of the day, the better team won the game. That does not change.
That's the bottom line, because KO said so. Now,
the score said something. The score said something.
Well, we know every year to start the season, we have the MEAC SWAC or SWAC MEAC challenge. Do you ever think we'll see a rematch against with the Celebration Bowl teams for the MEAC SWAC?
I don't know, but 2021, the Southern University Jaguars will travel to Atlanta to take on the North Carolina A&T Aggies.
That's a SWAC MEAC challenge that year?
SWAC MEAC challenge.
So if this is a big if. So if Southern is able to get to the SWAC championship game that year, this would be the first time that the Celebration Bowl champions or participants meet in the regular season. I would love to see that. Alcorn versus North Carolina A&T in the MEAC SWAC Challenge, or like a top team matchup in the SWAC MEAC Challenge, a 1 or 2 matchup, because a lot of people feel like the MEAC is the stronger conference. When you look across social media, when you look across how people feel that. People feel that the SWAC is not as strong as the MEAC. But when I was growing up, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Willie. Back in the days, didn't the SWAC used to beat up on the MEAC?
I never lost to the MEAC.
You know, so I know those old school.
Southern actually is undefeated in the SWAC MEAC Challenge. Mm-hmm. The only MEAC school that actually has ever beat Southern has been Fairfield.
Yeah, they beat them this past year in a game that Southern had a chance to win, mind you. You know, definitely had a chance to pull out that victory.
That game should have been won, but as you say, I mean, a football game is 60 minutes, and Southern learned how to play 60 minutes going into around week 7 and week 8. Beginning of the season, we shot ourselves in the foot several times. We took the opening drive against Memphis and drove down the opening drive and scored on Memphis convincingly, like we were supposed to be playing Memphis in that game, like we was a ACC school or a Big 12 school. We drove the ball down on Memphis convincingly, running and throwing. But you have to put together 60 minutes. Yesterday, North Carolina A&T played 60 complete minutes of football. Alcorn did.
That's correct.
Now, I will say this. As a football player, it's times where you can get your confidence wilted or halted by a referee off a bad call. Because that controversial, the one that me and you talked about, pass interference, Alcorn was actually driving the ball. Alcorn actually went up on North Carolina A&T. Prime example. I just relate back to the SWAC championship game. Hunter registered his touchdown in the back of the end zone. Was 3 feet in the end zone. Was called out of bounds. Southern would have went up by 20 points on Alcorn at that point. So it's times where you have calls in a game that can mentally destroy a player's confidence, can mentally destroy. It can really change the game of coaching. Period.
It takes the momentum away. We can always say the better team won because they won. That's not true all the time. That's
just my opinion. That's my opinion.
Okay.
20 points ain't a lot, you know.
What tells you right. We lost Alcorn by 38-24. We lost Alcorn by 14 points. So I'm going to just round up to 20. But if you look at paper, we beat Alcorn in every facet of the football game.
Except for turnovers.
Except for turnovers. Our cheerleaders hiding there. Our water girls pour better water than they
You did not say our cheerleaders.
Yes,
you did not say the cheerleaders.
Our drummers beat the drum 10 more times than them. But at the end of the day, the better team did not win the game. So we always, and I'm not going to say you, Kels, a lot of people say, well, the better team won the game because look at the score. That is not the truth. Because I've seen times to where if we look at it back with Southern's first game of the season against McNeese, you would say the better team won the game in McNeese. McNeese had only won 3 more games since they beat us.
I mean, Willie, you can give every scenario, but it's still, I'm talking about one game, and that's Celebration Bowl. Yesterday,
I understand that, Kels,
in my opinion, I'm not talking about Southern, I'm not talking about McNeese, I'm not talking about Grambling and Alcorn and Southern. Yesterday, A&T and Alcorn, Celebration Bowl, North Carolina A&T was the better team.
That's correct.
I mean, you even on paper, it does not matter how they beat them. It does not matter. You're talking about 1 touchdown difference. They were still the better team because if they weren't, Alcorn would have found a way to beat them. They would have found a way to be a better team 20 points on top. Like, come on, seriously now. Come on now. Really?
I don't agree with that at all, Tim. I don't.
That's
because
fine.
Can't believe
That's fine.
Willie Scott caper for Alcorn. What did you drink today, boy?
Hey, nothing. It's to the point of, I want to see a good, clean football game. What happens? I know if it's a fifth, we all be drunk. But what happens if the referee make the right call and call that pass interference and put Alcorn on the 10-yard line? And Alcorn score, and Alcorn go up by 7.
They don't lose by 20. They lose by 13.
No, it's not. It's not the point about the loss of the matter. It's you got to look at this. You got to look at the dynamic of the game, the flow of the game, the momentum of the game. Alcorn would have had the momentum. Now A&T's playing from behind. Now they can do some questionable things to get ahead, and Alcorn can do some things to maybe exploit them. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say, and I'm going to say this. 2 calls, I know don't go back to Southern, but 2 calls in the championship game that go Southern's way, the right way, how it's supposed to be, it would have been Southern playing yesterday, not Alcorn.
Man, y'all had too many turnovers to win that game, Willie. It more than 2
Does
plays.
not matter. With six turnovers, we were only down by 1 point with 5 minutes left in the game, and the first down with 4 minutes left in the game that was overturned, that was a yard and a half over the marker, was the turning point of the game.
Okay.
I wouldn't even call Hunter Ready to touchdown in the second quarter. That first down was the turning point of the game because Southern would have went and scored and went up and would have won the game because the defense was playing the way they were playing, lights out. But the thing about this, though, we got to look at. We can say North Carolina A&T was the better team because they won the game, but that's not always true.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Let me go with. At the end of the SWAC championship game, didn't Southern have the ball with a chance to go down and tie the game?
No. We was down by
They were down by 8 points. I mean, y'all were down by 7 points. And y'all had a chance to come back and tie the game. And Skelton threw a pick 6. That's a turnover, and that was 7 points the other way. So 6 turnovers, you're not going to come back to 6 turnovers against a team like Alcorn.
Okay, so let me before we press past that, people keep talking about those turnovers. You talk about the turnovers, but even like he said, for us to play that close with that many turnovers, what does that say? I guess that does prove his point at that time. That day they weren't the better team. Is what he said. Now I see what you're saying because that's the thing.
Exactly.
You can't win with that many turnovers. But they kept that ball game close. Yesterday's game wasn't close. It was 24 different.
We got some weird feedback, y'all. It's some weird feedback.
This is the thing. This is the difference.
Oh, somebody needs to use their phone or something. Yeah, feedback going on.
This is the thing I say about the better team. With 5:07 left in the game, we were driving the ball. We had Skelton got sacked. Skelton ran 14 yards for the first down. He got the first down the first time. They say he didn't. Then Gerard Sims ran 2 yards, and they say he didn't have it. But the thing about it is, though, at that point, we had 5 turnovers, and we were only losing by 1 point with 5 minutes left in the game and with 5 turnovers. So you can't say somebody can't win with turnovers, but the turning factor of the game was that first down call that was on national TV. The commentator said it. Everybody said there was a first down from national TV commentators and everybody that looked at that game, even when they talked about the game on ESPN that night. The kid was a yard and a half past the down marker, and they marked him a yard behind the down marker. You take that call away, give the call, so if Southern go down and score and waste another, say, 2 or 3 minutes off the clock and go down and score, if they're doing kick a field goal, they go up by 2, Alcorn get the ball back. Southern defense makes them go 3 and out. Alcorn drive back and beat them by a game-winning touchdown. I can accept that. But with 5 turnovers and 5:07 in the game, Southern was only losing to Alcorn 24-25.
That's the way the football game is played, though, Willie. That's just the way the football game is played. I mean, I mean,
So you said the football game is played by a referee doing a bad call. So that's how you said it. That's what you said, right?
That's something that can be corrected with instant replay, or having someone to second guess the referee's calls. But a referee had nothing to do with him throwing that interception, especially when he was in the red zone.
I agree with you 100%.
And I was pulling for you.
I agree with you 100% on that. But at the end of the day, we can always say, and that was my point, Kels, and I see that. I'm glad you saw what I was saying. I'm not saying North Carolina A&T were good, because they're very good. They're a very good, well-coached, disciplined football team. Alcorn lost their momentum and lost their cool, and the kid got a 15-yard penalty, Kels, in the fourth quarter to actually keep North Carolina A&T drive alive. Alcorn had their chance. Alcorn was down by 14 points going toward the end of the game, and was going to make them go 3 and out, and the kid got a bonehead play and extended their drive. You remember what I'm talking about, Kels?
Yeah, you said in the third. I think it's lower towards the end of the third quarter.
Toward the end of the third quarter, and Alcorn.
Yeah.
Because if they would have went 3 and out, Alcorn may have scored. The score would have been 52-45. Alcorn had opportunity to bring the game within 7, and because I actually honestly thought Alcorn was going to come back. But the thing about it is, though, when you are not mentally locked in, and that kid made a bonehead play, that killed Alcorn right there, because they extended North Carolina A&T's drive. That's when the quarterback made that long run. But yet the kid don't make that play. They punt the ball, and a lot of that has to do with discipline.
Okay, so we got about 8 minutes left in the show. So we want to close the chapter on football season, Kels.
I mean, we got 8 minutes, so I guess that's how we're gonna end it on football, because that's where we are.
Well, that was one thing I wanted to talk about. I know we're not gonna get a chance to talk about all the basketball, but the next type of football information we're gonna talk about will be signing day in February, and we'll find out all of the new prospects that our HBCUs are reloading with. We had early signing day last week. I was trying to find some information on joint group information on all the signees, but I'll just wait until February to discuss that. But there is one thing I want to discuss before we get out of here, and it's something that I did not know about. And Kels, I think this is one of your favorite movies too, because I've heard you talk about it. Remember the Titans with Coach Herman Boone, played by Denzel Washington. Now, I saw an article that said that he passed away and that he was a North Carolina Central University Hall of Famer. I had no idea that he went to an HBCU. Did you know that?
I didn't know it until I saw. I had posted the article, but I didn't know that either. No.
Right. I mean, you have a man who who came from an HBCU, double graduate from an HBCU, who was given credit for saving the town, as far as with the integration of black and white students. An HBCU graduate, essential in that transition, and became a legendary figure in Virginia, and had a very successful movie made, played by one of the greatest actors of all time. And I just want to, give my condolences to his family with his passing. But that's just more HBCU history that I am learning about from working with you. I'm pretty sure I would have found out about it later, but just working with you and just scouring the website for information on HBCUs, I get a little bit wiser by learning these little tidbits of information about our HBCU legends and legends that a lot of people may not know about. So, I mean, it's just awesome to know that this man, with the accomplishments that he earned in his lifetime, is a member of the North Carolina Central Hall of Fame. Their basketball arena is named after him. and his legacy will continue to live on, not just in that movie, not just what he did at T.C. Williams, but just at his HBCU as a whole. So, I just wanted to talk about that and, learning about that HBCU moment. That may be something I may want to add to the show going forward, if you're okay with that, is finding little known HBCU facts. Because you posted something about a football game, I can't remember, that I didn't know anything about as well. And it was it's awesome to find little tidbits like that. Because as an HBCU graduate, it enriches you to know that, these individuals who, were shunned from attending other institutions did not let racism stop them from achieving great things in life. Graduates from HBCUs have a profound impact in our community, and that is something that you're probably going to end up having a legacy because of what you plan to do with Black College Experience as you continue to grow your brand and continue to just grow as a businesswoman and grow just in what you want to do with Black College Experience. Because this year, you gave 2 scholarships away, and that meant a lot to those young ladies to receive the assistance. So pretty soon, like you already 40 on the 40. So I'm pretty soon, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in your future. You're gonna be in someone's Hall of Fame soon. If it's Southern's, if it's just a Hall of Fame for what you do for HBCU graduates, you're gonna be in someone's Hall of Fame with your dedication and what you do for HBCU students. I've been seeing all the comments and all the support and praise that you've been getting for the work that you've put in. And it warms my heart to see that the hard work you put in is not going unnoticed because, like you say, the future is female. And I'm just thankful that people recognize the hard work that you do, the work that you put in to Black College Experience.
Speaking of that, Keisha.
Is she still there?
Hello?
Did I lose her?
I'm here.
There.
Keisha. What year is this?
It's 2019.
And what year did you start this?
2016.
We had a conversation in 2015. And I would like to tell you that I'm proud of you, that you stuck the course. You're doing things that, like Derek said, that you probably didn't even think that you would accomplish in 3 short years. So if you continue to strive the way you're striving for greatness, great things will happen. And if you think back to that conversation we had in 2015, there was an issue of me basically telling you, or forcing you to start your own brand and start your own podcast and start your own radio show. And you did all that, and look where it's taking you thus far. And the same thing with you, Jim. We've had conversations as well, and look how much you've grown in the knowledge of sports that you didn't know of certain things. So if y'all just continue the course, great things can happen.
Yeah, Woodard Scott calls there from time to time and lends us his ever-growing wisdom.
The only thing I can say is I can truly say thank you. I've received it all day. I think it did. It started with Tiffany Green this morning from ESPN. It trickled down to HBCU Game Day. It's been coming from different places, and I am, for people that don't know me, that I'm tough when you see me in person, but I am a very, very, very emotional person. And that's on the flip side. I'm very emotional on the flip side because when I look at all the things that I have accomplished, I'm a very humble person. And on the other side is that in 3 short years, I've accomplished those things. But it started in May of 2016, and not even 3 weeks later, I lost my father in the process. So my dad wasn't able to see anything that I've accomplished in that time, my graduation, everything that I've done, anybody in my family's done in those 3 years, he has not been able to see it. So that's where the emotional part comes in. That's why I'm so humble, because I know my only vision, my only thing, if I never made a dime off of anything I ever did, is just to see all of these athletes get the exposure that they deserve. They deserve the same exposure these other kids are getting. So if I never heard a word about it, I'm fine with it. As long as they get the highlight, they get the exposure that they need, I'm cool.
Yes, indeed. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end this show because we're over our time. And I want to thank everyone for listening and supporting Black College Experience. And Keisha has a fundraising drive going on. So, Keisha, let everyone know where they can find that fundraiser and donate to Black College Experience.
So, of course, it is. It's on the actual page. It's on the Black College Experience Facebook page. So you can find it there. I will, of course, repost it for people to donate. So if you want to donate, you can donate to that scholarship fund. It is going for the spring, starting up for the spring 2020 campaign. I said it yesterday and I meant it, I am taking a break. I need some time off. I am traveling to see my mom, who I have not seen since October. So I need some time. There will not be a show next week. I do. I really got to regroup and get myself back together so I can get started on basketball and see what's going on here with Morehouse Clark and get started before we go deep into basketball season and the SWAC starts going. So that's that.
All right, so we are out of here. Thank you for listening. For Derek Thomas, Keisha Kelly, Willie Scott, and Patrick Perry, we are out of here with Black College Experience.
Good night.
Thank you.